software encoders. All right, guys. So right off of the bat, I'm just going to let you all know that aside from becoming a part of your everyday workflow in your workstation, setting up your software encoders and adjusting the settings within your software encoder, this is going to be an ongoing process that you're going to have to dedicate yourself to experimenting with until you find what works best for you. So I can tell you that I've been creating content for my gaming page on Facebook now for about 6 or 7 months, and still to this day, I'm constantly tweaking and adjusting the settings within my software encoder. In this video, we're just briefly going to discuss the role of the software encoder, and then I'm going to jump directly into my encoding software, and we're going to cover a couple of the settings that you guys can play around with. So I hope that this video helps you out. And without further ado, let's jump into the video. What up, gamers, streamers? It's BDG Billy the Goat from the Facebook gaming platform and the Level Up program, back to add another video to my playlist, Success in Facebook Gaming and the Level Up program. All right, so if you haven't already, guys, please do me a favor. Find my Facebook gaming page at facebook.com/officialbdggaming. Also, I'm applying for a custom URL on YouTube and I need 100 subscribers. So I would really appreciate it if you guys found my YouTube gaming channel and subscribe. All right, so before we jump into the software encoder, let me say this as a disclaimer, guys. I'm by no means an expert. I just started this about 6 to 7 months ago as far as live streaming gameplay and creating content. So if I misquote something or give some false information, I do apologize. Feel free to give any kind of feedback in the comments below. So exactly what is a software encoder and what is its role? Well, simply enough, a software encoder is just going to be a software application that you can download that is going to help you manage your live stream. You'll be able to add overlays, music, any kind of text graphics, or just, on screen animation. Now, this software encoder, it can also be used to just record your gameplay. I use it to actually record content like this and make videos. So it actually has multiple functions, but we're gonna focus on how to use it to encode your live stream video. Obviously, there are many different software encoders out there that you can choose from, but we're just gonna be focusing on Streamlabs OBS. Streamlabs OBS, the interface is definitely similar to OBS Studios. So anybody using OBS Studios, I'm sure you will be able to find some value in this video. All right, what up, gamers and streamers? This is Streamlabs OBS, the software encoder that we're going to be using today. Like I said, as you can see, the user interface is pretty interchangeable with OBS Studios. Like I said, what we're going to focus on are the settings and how to set it up. If you guys want me to do a video pretty much explaining how to use the software encoder, please let me know down in the comments, or you can find, like I said, find my gaming page, hit my DMs, any way that you can get in contact with me directly. Just let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see. Like I said, if you want to see me working down here and showing you guys how to work all of this, I definitely will do that for you guys. Today, what I want to focus on and what I want to get out of the way is the bread and butter of the software encoder, the settings. I say this, guys, because I guarantee you 90% of people who start this journey, this is one of the things that will make them quit the software encoder, or this is the thing that will make them switch encoding programs, and they really don't even need to switch. They just need to work and fine-tune their settings. As I've grown as a streamer, I've wanted to add more things into my stream. Well, guess what? When I add those things into my stream, it does have an impact on what I'm using as the encoder, and I'll explain that a little bit more as well. I just want to put a real big emphasis on, how important it is to understand how these settings work. I'll explain these things to the best of my ability. If you would like to copy my settings exactly and see if they work for you, that is absolutely okay. I do not mind. That's what this video is for. I want to help you guys out. Understanding in how these settings work is one of the most important things when it comes to making sure that you have a healthy live stream that your viewers are gonna like looking at. All right, guys, so opening up the settings cogwheel, I just want to bring you guys to the stream tab, one of the very first tabs we're gonna look at. This tab is gonna help you link your other social media platforms and help you to stream to all of those platforms at once. So pretty much multi-platform streaming. Now, like I said, OBS Studios, it has a way for you to be able to stream to, you know, multiple platforms as well. I'm sure you just have to find that plugin. But if you want to stream to multiple platforms through Streamlabs, you'll have to pay for their Prime package. I did myself. I thought it was a necessity, especially when trying to maximize your reach and build a community, which is exactly what I'm trying to do. So I thought paying for that Prime package so I could use that service was a necessity. I do want to say that Streamlabs in no way, shape, or form sponsored this video. Like I said, that is just something that I did on my own because I thought that it was important enough. Now, where I spend most of my time and where you'll spend most of your time, I'm gonna try to make this part as short as possible because with so many different things to play around with, this video could be fairly long. So I'm just gonna briefly run through the settings that I think are really important, the ones that you need to tweak and adjust. So first, in the output tab, you have the output mode. Just put that on advanced. It's gonna allow you to play with more of these settings. So when you're looking at the streaming tab here, when you go down to encoder, and this is one of the more important ones that you can play around with, this is going to tell your computer what to put the encoding task on, which component of your PC is going to handle the actual encoding. Now, you can put that load on your CPU or you can put that load on your graphics card. Again, this is really going to depend on what graphics cards you have. If you have a graphics card that's a lower end, you might not want to use the hardware encoder NVIC New. You might want to use the software 264. Again, that's going to put a lot of load on your CPU. I was using this one at first, and it did all right for a little while, to be honest. There's really nothing wrong with it. Like I said, it just puts so much load onto your CPU. So whenever I started adding more and more stuff to my stream, that number started getting a little high. And I should have said this a little bit before. One good thing about these software encoders is that you can kind of tag it here to bring up these little performance little tabs to kind of let you know how your computer is actually handling things. And like I said, right now I'm recording, so that number is sitting at an idle of about 5% on my CPU, and that's not bad at all. When you're streaming and doing anything within your encoder, you're going to want to pay that number very close attention, and I would suggest trying to keep it below 30%. Once you start getting above 30%, you're looking at your stream is starting to lag. Things are starting to slow down. You might be dropping frames and stuff like that. So definitely pay that attention. But like I said, whether or not you're putting the load on your CPU of the encoding or whether you're putting it on your graphics card, that is going to impact this number, and that's what you're going to want to pay attention to. Right now, I am using hardware NVIC New. If I were using the software just to record, that number is not going to be high. So understand, this is not bad. People are going to tell you to automatically go for here. I won't say whether or not I agree or disagree with that. Again, I did use the software X264 for the longest time, and I really didn't have, starting out, I really didn't have many issues with that. It was when I started adding more and more stuff into my stream that was kind of a problem. So I ended up switching to the hardware NVIC New. So Again, for lack of argument, just go with the hardware NVIC new. If your graphics card is strong enough to handle it, it's definitely going to lighten the load on your CPU. I think when you initially get it, enforce hardware streaming server, enforce streaming service encoder settings, I think that is checked off. You just unclick it. Rate control, keep that at CBR. That's constant bit rate. I don't know what the other ones mean, but just go with CBR, constant bit rate. Now, bit rate. This is going to be one of those things that you have to tweak and adjust. I can tell you the way you're going to find out what numbers you can use to play around with is going to be determined by your upload speed. So when you're doing your internet speed checks, make sure again that you're paying attention to your upload speeds. If your upload speeds are anywhere above, I think it's 10 megabytes per second. If it's anywhere above 10 megabytes per second, set your bit rate to 6,000. Okay, set your bit rate to 6,000. I can't say that enough. There's somewhere on Facebook, I might throw it in this video, where it will explain how to determine what your bit rate should be set at. I will tell you, like I said, if your internet upload speed is anywhere above 10 megabytes per second, put that on 6,000. Key frame interval 2. Can't tell you why, just put on 2. Preset. This is one that you can play around with. The preset is just it's almost like anything else. It's preset to kind of encode the video in a certain way. So when you're encoding that video, you can choose for it to go for quality, you choose for it to go for performance. They even have some latency settings that you use. I go for max quality. Again, that is something that I change. Sometimes it might be max quality. Sometimes I might need it to go for more for performance. Just that one kind of depends on what you're doing. If you're playing the game, you might want to go for performance because you might not care about the quality of the stream as much. You just want to make sure that you can still play the game. So maybe you might go for max performance. Again, just do a little bit of research as far as maybe what you want your preset to be set at. I go for, again, max quality. I'm just recording a video here anyway, so honestly, max quality is fine. Profile, put that on high. These settings down here, I believe they kind of stay. These are the default. Max B frames is 2. I'm pretty sure that's the default, so that one's fine. Now, before you leave the output tab, you might want to check on the recording tab. You can see where your recordings go when you finish recording. That's important. What's going to be, what encoder you're going to be using. Again, you see what mine was already set at to use the stream encoder. So whatever you have set underneath here, that's what it's going to use. Audio, I don't ever change anything in there, or the replay buffer. I haven't played around in there at all. Audio, the audio tab. This is one, when you first get it, just make sure that all of your settings from your default computer, your Windows 10 sound settings, make sure that your devices are all hooked up, plugged in properly, so that Streamlabs is finding them and reading them properly, and that you can just, use them. They should come up here whenever you're trying to find your audio devices. So just make sure that you have your audio devices checked off in here. So my sound is going to be playing through my Yeti microphone. My mic, that's my mic, my Yeti mic. Video, the video tab. This is another pretty important tab to pay some attention to. Base canvas resolution, output scaled resolution. This is going to be another one again that you might want to tweak and adjust depending on what you're trying to, depending on, a lot of it is going to be dependent upon what your computer can handle. Okay, so if you've got a pretty good graphics card and you got a pretty good CPU, you can handle some of these higher resolutions. If you don't, you might want to stay, in some lower resolutions so it's not impacting your computer so hard. Again, guys, remember, dedicated to tweaking and adjusting all of these settings until you find what works best for you. I'm able to do a 1920 by 1080 resolution, which is HD res. So base canvas resolution. Now, when you're researching these guys, you might get a little bit some different looks or takes on what they actually mean. If you guys know what they actually mean, please let me know in the comments. Maybe you guys can explain what they actually mean to me, but I'll try to explain it again as best as my research let me know. So your canvas resolution, that's just what you're working on. It's a canvas, like a painter. The canvas, that's your workspace. That's what you're working on. Output, again, that's what you're putting out. That's what your viewers are going to see. Keep in mind, guys, if you scale it down, so if I'm working, if my canvas, my workspace is at 1920 by 1080, if I change my scaled resolution or my output resolution, if I change that at all, your computer is going to have to do a little bit more work, because now it's taking how your actual canvas and it's changing the resolution or the output of what you're working in. So understand, if these numbers are different, say your canvas or workspace is 1080, and then but you output it to 720p because that's what Facebook initially set you at, I believe. And don't quote me on that. That's just what a lot of people say, that Facebook is going to downscale your resolution anyway. I don't pay that any attention. I just go by what my research led me to do, which was keeping both of these numbers just the same so that your computer won't have to do any extra work. Now, the downscale filter. So I want to say this is going to be what is affected by this. Okay. So like I said, if these numbers are different, if you downscaled your output, downscale filter, right? Now, I used to use this a lot, but I was told, and that is if you're moving fast, right? If you're moving fast in game, it's going to kind of be able to help keep things looking smooth and not so blurry. But I was told that if you're not scaling your output resolution, or if you're not scaling down your canvas resolution, then just keep it at bilinear. So bilinear is what I use. Your FPS type, keep that at default. This one here you can change, and that's just what you want your FPS, your frame rates to be. And again, that's one that I change kind of often. Sometimes I do 30, sometimes I do 60. It depends on what kind of content that I'm creating in that moment. So that's all for the video tab. Advanced tab. The only thing I really in here change is the process priority. I think it's at normal when you first get it. I go high. Down here, everything is fine at default, and everything else, guys, is pretty much preference. Like I said, I did the best I could to explain everything as far as how my research led me to set everything up, and my live streams are fine. Sometimes I have minor issues with dropping frames, but I don't drop too much. It's never a really high percentage, but again, it's a process, guys. It's a process to get the stream looking the way you want. It's a process to finding the right settings that is going to give you the stream that you want. So if you start off with Streamlabs, guys, please work within your settings before you switch to OBS Studios because it didn't work out for you. And the same thing with OBS Studios, guys. It's a great program. Don't just switch to Streamlabs OBS because you couldn't get OBS Studios to work for you. Tweak and adjust these settings. They are very important. All of them are going to impact your PC differently. So sometimes you'll have to record your stream to see what kind of impact it might have on you. A lot of times I set up specific streams for tests. This is something that you're gonna have to dedicate yourself to if you do want to stream live content. All right, that pretty much wraps it up for the settings for your software encoder. I hope that this video provided some type of value to you. So if it did, please mash down on that like and that follow button. If you all do me a favor and find your way to my Facebook gaming page as well and do the same. Until next time, guys, I'm Billy the GOAT. Believe it, live like you're the greatest of all time.